what's your perspective when we talk about sexual purity?
Whatever God says we should do is for our own good. He knows why He said we should wait until you are married. Of course, sex should happen within the context of marriage. And the Bible said, "Be holy, for I, your Father in heaven, I am holy." And it encompasses every area of our life, including sex. And sex is a beautiful thing God created for the confines of marriage. But because of, I would say, modernization and a lot of social media expose, movies, music, and all of that has predisposed young people and even pressurized them into, trying out sex before time. But sexual purity is very, very important. It is keeping your soul, body, and mind from corruption.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Student Compass podcast hosted by Standout Child and Youth Foundation. And your host for today is Stephanie Ufumaogene. And sitting beside me is pharmacist Samuel Umpong, who is a data analyst. He's also a philanthropist. He's also a writer. He's also a man who has decided to give himself to impacting the young generation. Thank you, sir, for coming.
Thank you for having me.
In today's podcast, we'll be talking about two interesting topics, and these are issues affecting students and young individuals. We'll be talking about sexual purity and examination malpractice. I'll be asking Mr. Samuel some questions as he shares his opinion on these two areas. So many young people today feel pressure on different stages of their life. There's pressure from social media, from friends, from the environment, from the community. Would you say pressure is one of the biggest reasons students make poor decisions?
Thank you very much for that question. Pressure is one of the major ingredients, or I would say factor, that has influenced young people in decision making. Marriage, the course of study, the career path, and all of that. And unfortunately, parents, the society has not helped either, because the succor for a child is supposed to be home. The parents are supposed to be the one to, panel beat them, guide them, regardless of the pressure outside. But we live in a generation where the pressure as well comes from within, where young people are compared to their classmates. They will say, look at your classmates, that person is your mate. When we do that, when parents do that, when uncles, aunties do that, they compare them with their cousins who are doing better, so to say. When we do that, we push these young people to the edge, and then they decide to make decisions that will hamper their future. Example, let's say we have two young people, one from a rich family and the other not from a rich family. And however they meet, and this comparison ensued, before you know, the one from not very rich family or an average family, so to say, might dabble into drugs, the yahoo we have these days, and a whole lot of societal values that will affect, their future.
Okay.
So that's it.
That's very true. So a lot of people hear the phrase sexual purity and immediately think is about rules and regulation. So what's your perspective when we talk about sexual purity?
Thank you very much. Sexual purity is, sorry, I won't apologize. I'm a Christian, so I have to, refer to the Bible. And whatever God says we should do is for our own good. He knows why He said we should wait until you are married. Of course, sex should happen within the context of marriage. And the Bible said, "Be holy, for I, your Father in heaven, I am holy." And it encompasses every area of our life, including sex. And sex is a beautiful thing God created for the confines of marriage. But because of, I would say, modernization and a lot of social media expose, movies, music, and all of that has predisposed young people and even pressurized them into, trying out sex before time. But sexual purity is very, very important. It is keeping your soul, body, and mind from corruption.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
So, do you think young people truly understand the emotional and mental effects of their sexual choices?
I doubt they do. Why I say so is you can do better when you know better. And it behoves on we, the older generation, parents, church, the society, to truly bring our children to the level of understanding the negative impact of decided to live and sexually impure life, early pregnancy, street children. They are products of not waiting for sex at the right time. You can go all and out, sexually transmitted infections, a whole lot of issues that will stem from that. And you find out that people who engage in, sex beforehand, they halt their developmental stages. Let's say, for example, a young girl start having sex at a very tender age. A lot is going to happen. It would reconstruct the normal, proper, developmental milestone that that child supposed to have had, right? Some of them can start having sexual compulsive behaviors because maybe some of them, unfortunately, may be a victim of abuse, and that could stem to other sexual vices, same-sex relationship, and all of that. So sexual purity is very important, and it's something that we should take very serious. As a matter of fact, people of all levels, whether you're government, your organization, NGOs, families, churches, it should be something we talk about, because if we don't do this, imagine how this generation is, and we have not prepared ourselves for what to come in the next generation if we don't take drastic action on tropical issues like this.
Okay, thank you. So, some students feel staying sexually pure makes them look old-fashioned, makes them to look weak among their peers. So, what can you say about that?
Thank you very much. That's I went through that as well. I remember one of those occasions. Yeah, I think in secondary school, I had pimples all over my face, and my classmates said that it's because have not had sex and all of that. So the pressure has always been there. It's nothing new. But the truth is, that's a lie. That's a very big lie from the pit of hell. In fact, the more sexually pure you are, the more sound your mind will be.
Yeah,
Because
that's true.
your mind will not be corrupted. You will be able to pass. Yes, there are some percentage of people who involve in sex at a young age and still pass. But take statistics and find out young people who have put themselves into sex before time. No direction. You are going to be gambling between my boyfriend, as after all I have done for you, you still left me. When you're supposed to face your studies, face your life, forge a career for yourself, you are now trying to, fight with relationship issues you don't have business to do. So, sex before time is a distraction, total distraction. And we'll still go back to say that sexual purity is not old-fashioned, right? It offers you more good for
Okay.
your life than the other way around. You're not missing anything not having sex before marriage. I tell young people, you're not missing anything. Whatever they tell you are missing is a lie. Whatever you want to learn about sex, you learn it in marriage if you married the right person.
Okay, that's powerful. And I would like to add to what you have said. When we are talking about sexual purity, it's not just for young people, both married individuals. For
Especially
me,
married
I
men.
would say that when you are single, it's a time to discipline yourself. It's a time to prepare yourself to be an accountable partner when you get married. I've come to understand that if you were not disciplined enough when you were single, you did not discipline yourself as a man or as a woman, you won't, when you get married, marriage will not teach you to be disciplined when it has to do with sex.
You're
So
absolutely right.
sexual purity is not just for
for young
the
people.
singles, it's also for married individuals. You just have to learn how to discipline yourself. And when you learn from when you're younger in your age, it's better for you when you get married. Okay. We'll be moving to the academic part. Okay. Let's move into examination malpractice. So this has been a serious issue in many schools. So why do you think students still engage in cheating, even when they know the risks involved?
Thank you very much. I'm going to apologize for saying this, but it's just the truth. Our young people have learned from adults. I've been opportune to invigilate some exams to a certain level, and I can bet you, you see adults do things that you makes you cry, and these same adults are going to be people's parents. You are not going to give what you don't have. It's impossible. So let's say if Ada hypothetically cheated in school and passed through school, and Ada finally has Chidinma as a daughter, there is no way on earth Ada is going to instill the spirit of academic excellence into Chidinma, because Ada, by virtue, who is going to deposit that stealing spirit into the, there is nothing there is nothing you can do about it. Like I said, you can't give what you don't, you cannot give what you don't have. And if there are adults who don't believe that you can actually write exam on your own and pass,
Yeah.
except you cheat. So how are those people that are people's parents all of a sudden, because you have now been a parent, will now be able to tell your child, don't cheat? Oh, we have parents who take their children to special centers instead of, involve themselves while those children are learning. They would rather take their children to a place where they think, so to say, they will be assisted to pass. So when we have young people see exam malpractice as a way of life, it seems to where they are coming from. It's not everyone, it's not everybody, but majority, high percentage of it, you find out that just check their life, you will know that their parents were perpetual exam, misconduct people. Some suspended, some expelled. But we live in a time where our parents tell us they were carrying first all through their life, but we are already seeing it in their offspring.
Some students say things like, everybody cheats. If I don't cheat, I may fail. So how dangerous is that mindset?
It's a dangerous mindset, and it comes from home. And I will keep on saying it, because at least I've spent up more than 3 decades on earth, and I can tell you that I grew up when I saw people writing the exams on their own.
Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up seeing people write exams on their own without assistance. But normality began to shift over time, and we find young people, you find even parents, encouraging, giving money, right? Oh yeah, when you go, if they ask for this, give. And it became a norm that, of course, the children now know that when I'm ready to write an exams, there has to be money to back me up, except I'm not going to pass. But there are families, which I will have to commend those families, who insist that they teach their children core character values, core values that even if everybody cheats, you are different. There are still families like that. It's just that they are very few, right? And if you want to, I think some time ago, there was a social media buzz around unemployability of young Nigerians. How will they be employable when more than 80% of people cheat through school? It's not possible. You cannot cheat. Like, I remember those days in pharmacy school, one of our lecturers said that we are encouraging you to read and be independent, because you'll be face to face with your patient. And will you cheat to take care of your patient at that point in time? And that strike a chord in me. And it made me, on my own. I know that, in fact, it gave me some kind of principle I lived with. If I do not know, my demo does not know. So I'll better fail honorably than ask you. And it paid off. So parents should now wake up. Yes, you may have messed up, but don't transfer that mess up to your children, because that's a very wrong mindset to believe that because this thing is happening, it means everybody is doing it. It's dangerous, and we should, try and correct that notion.
Okay, very true. So what are some long-term effects of examination malpractice that people don't usually think about?
Oh, thank you. It's all encompassing. We are going to have a decay future and a generation if exam malpractice is not nipped in the bud. This is why we talk about how our young people are not willing to work. Of course, our young people have been made to believe that short-term success is the in thing. All right? When you start school today, tomorrow you are supposed to graduate. When you You have an exams to rate, you can scroll through your phone for 24 hours and give one, or 23 hours and give 1 hour to study. It doesn't work that way. We have to teach our young people the concept of self, discipline. We have to teach them the concept of, paying the price to get what you want, right? You have to teach them that life is not just because you just wake up. It's not Indomie. We live in an Indomie generation, but life itself is not Indomie at all. We are in the season where maize, corn, is now prevalent. And they barely planted them 2 or 3, it's not up to 2 months, and the fruits are all around you eat. You cannot compare that with mango that takes a lot of time for the fruit to come out, or even grow to maturity for the fruit to come out for you to eat. So we need, it behoves on us as parents, church, society, to ensure that we instill what we want to see in our future. If we leave these things to chance, we'll arrive at the future and we'll be scared of it, seriously.
Yeah.
Because it will affect character, to affect integrity, to affect trust. We'll not be able to employ people, we'll not be able to work with people. Everybody will be a suspect because that inherent attitude and character is there.
I like that point because many people think about passing exam. They don't think of becoming a competent individual. And we fail to understand that this process of all these exams, the process of reading and all that, is not just for the certificate alone, but it has a way of building the individual to be competent. Anywhere you find yourself, any job you find yourself doing, you see yourself being competent because you have learned over the years how to work hard, how to be successful, and all that. And I would like to also add this. There was a girl that stayed with me, and when she came to my house, she couldn't even spell her name, and she was over 16 years old. I told her that she will not be able to write WAEC when you can't even spell your name. I took that girl back to JS1 in a private school. This was a girl that if you ask, what do you want to become? She would say, maybe I will just go and sew clothes. She believed that she could not anything book.
Yeah.
But when we started, she started going to school, a school that was paying attention to her. They were teaching her. She wrote exams herself. She saw her performance. Although she was not first position, but that joy that I wrote my exam and passed changed her mindset automatically. Today, if you ask her, she'll tell you, I want to be a lawyer. I want to be a lawyer. So I want to really encourage our parents, principals, head teachers out there. Please, we are the reason that we bring up a generation that will come out to be competent. I don't want to, I don't know the word to use, but like in Nigeria, we could be saying the problem of Nigeria, the problem of Nigeria. These are some of the solutions to the problem we are facing in Nigeria if we can embrace such lifestyle. I would like you to talk to students that are listening right now who may already be struggling with pressure either from sexual pressure or academically. So I'd like you to just give them a practical advice.
First off, I would advise, regardless the age you are now, all is not lost. All hope is not lost. The first thing you need to do is to discover yourself. Be self-aware, because self-awareness and self-discovery helps you differentiate between person A and person B. And that will deliver you from the syndrome of comparison, right? Some people will take first all through their life. Some people may not, but both of them may arrive at a desired destination. That's number one. Know who you are. Sit down, have a meeting with yourself. And the concept of praying has been overrated, where you have to find one place, localized place, or all of that. You can just sit as you're sitting and having a conversation between yourself and God. Why did you create me? Why am I here? What talent did you put inside of me? When you ask those questions, I tell you, you're going to find those questions. God is not far. He's not deaf and dumb that I can't hear you. He will hear you. And inherent in man, like the Bible said, I think in Job, that there is spirit in man, the breath of the Almighty that giveth understanding, is there. And That prompting may be there. Follow that prompting. You can write. Keep writing. Spend 1 hour every day to read. It's going to help you arrive at that destination that you're looking for. That's number one. Number two, your friends. If you have found out that you have certain sets of friends who don't align with where you are going, please run away. And the Bible says, flee all evil appearance, because bad communication corrupts good manners. Do away with your friends. They say, show me your friend and I will tell you who you are. And I will say, show me your friend and I will tell you where you are going to. Right? Because if your friend is heading to doom, I can guarantee you, because you can't be better than the people that you surround yourself with. Number three, your environment. This one, you may not be able to completely control it, because it is not in your place as a young person to carry yourself out. But as you grow older, maybe 18 and you've finished secondary school, you can now start being intentional around your environment, the people you listen to, the people who talk to you and all of that. And then develop yourself. The totality of what you're going to become in future lies in your personal development, not even in prayers. Because no matter how you pray, if you don't put in the work, you are going to end up as somebody who has not prayed at all. And you are going to start blaming God that he doesn't answer your prayers. But because you have not put in the work. Develop yourself. Stay responsible. What you're going to also become lies in your personal responsibility. You have to be responsible for yourself. When you were born, 6 months, 7 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, maybe till 10, 15, 20. Let's say, let me keep it at 13. At some level, your parents would expect you to be responsible for yourself. You have to learn how to wash your clothes. You have to learn how to pick your books and read without nobody pushing you. Being responsible is doing what you ought to do, regardless of how you feel about it. So let's say, for example, if you are supposed to read to have an A in your exams, you're not going to wait for anybody to start telling you, Junior, go and read. You need to know that your success now lies in your personal responsibility. And of course, they say your destiny is in your hands. With those, I think you make the best of your life. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. And let's not forget, your choices today depends on your future for tomorrow. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and I remain your host, Stephanie Ufumawagene from Standout Child and Youth Foundation.